How all civilizations become either spacefaring or extinct. Carl Sagan. From the rise and fall of empires to the dystopian futures imagined in fiction, we stand on the precipice of history, asking, are we destined to repeat the cycles of power, collapse, and rebirth, or can we break free? In Foundation, Isaac Asimov envisioned a future where the fate of civilizations could be predicted, and perhaps even controlled. Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent, said Salvor Hardin. But was he right? In our world, history tells a different story. Empires have risen through conquest and fallen through greed, corruption, or simple entropy. Rome, the Ottoman Empire, the British Empire, all grand civilizations that believed themselves eternal, yet all met their decline. Frank Herbert's Dune warns us of the dangers of religious zealotry, political manipulation, and resource scarcity. The Fremen of Arrakis endure generations of suffering for a distant promise. Our world is supported by four things: the learning of the wise, the justice of the great, the prayers of the righteous, and the valor of the brave. But all of these are as nothing without a ruler who knows the art of ruling. But do rulers truly shape civilizations, or are they merely passengers on the inevitable tide of history? Dan Simmons' Hyperion presents an even grimmer outlook. The collapse of the hegemony, the mystery of the Shrike, and the manipulations of A question whether civilizations are ever truly in control of their fate. Empires fall. That is the lesson of history. Liu Cixin's The Three-Body Problem forces us to look at civilization's survival on a cosmic scale. The dark forest theory suggests that the universe is a silent battleground, every civilization hiding, knowing that contact may mean destruction. Are we already playing this game? Technology is both savior and executioner. In Neuromancer, William Gibson's cyberpunk world shows how unchecked AI and corporate power turn civilization into a fragmented, dystopian shadow of itself. In Iain M. Banks's Culture series, AI-led utopias raise a crucial question. If machines become the rulers of civilization, will humanity still matter? History, literature, and reality blend together in a grand question. Are civilizations doomed to repeat the past? Or can we break the cycle? Join us as we explore the fate of civilizations past, present, and future.
All right, let's dive in. Ever wonder how civilizations rise and fall? Well, today we're not just looking at history, we're going sci-fi.
Oh, that's a great angle.
I know, right? We'll see what authors have dreamt up about empires, tech, and, the big question, utopia or bust.
I think sci-fi for that really holds a mirror up to our own world.
Exactly. So our sources today, Asimov's Foundation, Dune by Herbert, Hyperion by Simmons. Oh, and Cixin Liu's The Three-Body Problem and its sequel, The Dark Forest.
Classic choices.
And, of course, we can't forget Gibson's Neuromancer. We'll compare all that to, like, ancient Rome, the Cold War, the heavy hitters of history.
It's like we're looking for the blueprint of civilization, right? What makes them tick and what makes them crash and burn.
So, first up, cycles of power. Foundation throws out this wild idea called psychohistory.
Ah, yes, predicting the future of entire societies with math.
It's like, could that even work?
Well, Asimov's character, Hari Seldon, this math genius, he uses psychohistory to see the galactic empire falling. To soften the blow, he creates the Foundation, like a group to build a new society from the wreckage.
Smart move. But is psychohistory even remotely possible? Can we really predict humanity's future with that kind of precision?
That's the debate, right? Some folks say large-scale human behavior is predictable enough for math. Others, well, they point to the flaws. Individual choice, random events.
Like in Dune, You've got Arrakis, this desert planet with spice, the ultimate resource.
Right, everyone wants it.
Noble houses like the Atreides and Harkonnen fighting, the Spacing Guild controlling space travel, and the Fremen just trying to protect their home.
And then you've got the Bene Gesserit, that secretive group all about manipulating power for generations.
Well, yeah, with their breeding program and everything.
They try to control the game, but even they can't account for everything. Like Lady Jessica, Paul Atreides' mother, she messes up their plan big time.
By giving birth to Paul, he becomes this huge figure on Arrakis.
Exactly. Shows you how even the tightest control can get disrupted by one person's choice.
Speaking of control and collapse, ancient Rome had its share of that. Internal fights, spreading too thin, challenges to the emperor, all classic downfall ingredients.
And we see that mirrored in both Foundation and Dune. It's fascinating.
It's a pattern, right? And if you look at the Cold War, that's got the same vibe.
Absolutely. The arms race between the US and the Soviet Union, the ideologies clashing, that constant fear of nukes.
Like the world could end at any moment.
It really reflects that tension, that potential for self-destruction that we see in so much sci-fi.
It makes you think, are we hardwired for self-sabotage? But okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about technology's role in all this? Savior or doombringer?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. E&M Banks' The Culture series presents this utopia where AI runs everything. Humans just chill, pursue art, have fun.
Sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, but can that last?
Well, that's what the culture books dig into, the hidden problems of paradise. Like, what happens to personal drive when everything's taken care of? Can we really trust AI that much?
So do we need some struggle to thrive? But the neuromancer flips the script. Technology is this tool for inequality and control.
Totally. Big corporations like the Tessia Ashpool family calling the shots.
Yeah, with cybernetically enhanced people like Molly Millions basically being weapons in their game.
It's bleak.
So we've got the culture, potentially utopian tech, and neuromancer, the dystopian nightmare. So where are we headed? Are we sleepwalking towards one of those extremes?
That's the question, right? Look around smartphones, the internet, AI, it's all changing so fast. Are we connecting more or isolating more? Getting stronger or more vulnerable?
It's time for a gut check. These sci-fi scenarios aren't just stories. They're like, what if? Scenarios playing out. What are the choices we're making right now? Okay, but enough about us for a sec. Let's look at how these societies are organized.
Okay, sure.
Hyperion throws us into the deep end with the hegemony, this massive interstellar empire, and then this techno-religious Shrike cult, plus all these different planetary societies.
Right, so much variety.
It's like a political science sampler platter from across the galaxy. But these fictional systems, they're not just random, right?
No, they reflect real-world power structures, ideologies, the whole mess of governing diverse populations, stuff we've been dealing with forever. Monarchies, democracies, theocracies.
Reimagined in space. Cool. But imagine if we met aliens. How would our governments react?
That's the three-body problem in a nutshell. Six and Liu drops this alien invasion on us, and guess what? We don't handle it well.
Surprise, surprise.
Governments fall apart, panic everywhere, society starts unraveling.
Not a good look for humanity. But wait, didn't this whole thing start because of one person's choice?
You're thinking of Yi Wenji, right?
Yeah, her.
She's this astrophysicist, disillusioned after China's Cultural Revolution. She sends a message into space, inviting the Trisolarians to Earth.
Talk about consequences. Her personal baggage could doom us all. It really shows how one person can change everything, even against these huge, unstoppable forces.
And it loops us back to predictability. Can we really see the future of civilizations like Asimov suggested with psychohistory? Or is it all just random chaos?
Well, the three-body problem definitely makes you wonder. I mean, the Trisolarans, they're unlike anything we can imagine. Their tech, their motives, it's all a mystery, and their tactics are brutal.
Like that droplet attack. This tiny probe just wipes out the human fleet.
Total curveball. We're blindsided, even with all our tech and smarts.
It shows that predicting the future, especially with the unknown, is way more complicated than we think. And then you have the dark forest theory from the sequel.
Oh, well, that sounds ominous.
It is. It basically says, in a universe where anyone could be a threat, staying silent and hidden is the safest move.
Like, don't make a sound or you're dead.
Pretty much. If you reveal yourself, someone more advanced might just wipe you out.
That's dark. So cosmic hide-and-seek, where getting found means annihilation.
Basically, it makes you think about our search for alien life. Do we risk saying hello, hoping for the best, or stay quiet in the dark to survive?
Whoa, heavy stuff. And that's just the tip of the iceberg in this deep dive.
We've barely scratched the surface.
Cycles of power, technology's double-edged, the craziness of government, and that chilling dark forest idea. It's a lot to process.
Definitely.
But where do we go from here? Utopia waiting for us, or are we doomed to collapse? What role do individuals really play? Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll keep exploring these big questions.
Sounds good. It's really amazing how sci-fi lets us play with these massive ideas, like testing out different futures, good and bad, that without the real-world risks.
It's like a giant thought experiment. Yeah.
Exactly. And in these stories, certain themes just keep popping up, like that struggle between individual choice and, well, the forces of history.
Like in Foundation, right? Hari Seldon's plan to guide the future, it depends on people making specific decisions at certain times.
Yeah, if there's no free will, the whole thing falls apart.
It's like a giant chess game where some moves are already set, but others depend on the players.
Exactly. And Dune plays with that too. Paul Atreides, he's supposed to be this great leader, but he still has choices to make that change his path and the fate of Arcus.
Right, he could have become a tyrant, but he chooses the firm and fights for them.
And those decisions have huge ripple effects, not just for him, but for galactic history. It makes you think, can any civilization truly escape its past?
That's deep. I mean, we're all shaped by our history, right? Personally and as a society.
For sure. And sci-fi grapples with that constantly. Hyperion, for example, the past isn't just a memory, it's this active force shaping the present. Like the Shrike, that freaky creature, embodies that.
Wait, for those who haven't read Hyperion, what's the Shrike?
Oh, right. Imagine this metallic being, 4 arms, blades for hand, moves super fast, and it's kind of unbound by time. It's tied to these time tunes on the planet which hold secrets of the past. The Shrike represents how the past can haunt us, control us, if we don't deal with it.
Okay, that's seriously creepy. But I see what you mean. It's like those historical events, those traumas, that still affect politics and society today.
Exactly. And the three-body problem, that's got a stark example too. Wenji, what she does during the Cultural Revolution has consequences way beyond her time.
Right, because she contacts the aliens?
Yeah, she's disillusioned with humanity, so she makes this choice that could lead to our extinction. It's like her trauma triggers a potential trauma for everyone on a cosmic scale.
It's a lot. It makes you wonder, are we just doomed to repeat history's mistakes? Or can we break free? And speaking of meeting the other, that's another big sci-fi theme that fits here.
You mean aliens?
Yeah, aliens, but also anything that challenges our worldview. You know, like what we think we know about ourselves and the universe. The Trisolarans in the Three-Body Problem are the perfect example. Their biology, their technology, their motives. It's so alien that it forces us to look at our own ideas about intelligence, morality, being human.
Right, it's like realizing the universe doesn't revolve around us. There are other ways of being, other perspectives that might completely change how we see things.
And that could be exciting, but also terrifying.
Definitely. It can lead to cooperation or to fear, hostility, even destruction. We see that in the Three-Body Problem. Humanity's response to the Trisolarans is this mix of hope, fear, desperation, and then there's that whole dark forest theory thing, which adds a whole other layer.
Yeah, that theory was pretty intense.
It takes the idea of the other to the extreme. If every civilization is a potential threat, staying silent, hiding, is the safest option. Communication becomes dangerous.
So basically, we're all trapped in this cosmic survival game where the only rule is don't get caught.
Kind of. It's a bleak outlook. It suggests that trust, cooperation, maybe they're impossible on a galactic scale.
Makes you wonder, what's the point of civilization if all we're doing is trying to survive? Is there something more?
That's a question that's been debated forever, and sci-fi gives us a new way to look at it. So we've got the past influencing us, meeting the other, and the potential for both amazing and awful futures. But what about individuals? Where do they fit in all this?
Yeah, they make up civilizations, but they're often caught between these huge forces.
For sure. Like in Dune, Lady Jessica, what she does has huge consequences, but she's really just trying to protect her son at first. She tries to control things, but ultimately she unleashes forces she can't handle.
It reminds me of that saying, no plan survives contact with the enemy.
Exactly. And then you got someone like Molly Millions in Neuromancer. She's not trying to change the world. She's just trying to survive in a world run by corporations and AI. She uses her skills, her cybernetic enhancements, to make her own space.
She's a classic cyberpunk character. Tough, resourceful in her own code. Her story shows how hard it is to stay an individual, to have autonomy, when technology blurs the lines between human and machine.
Right. And in Hyperion, you've got these pilgrims going to the time tombs, each with their own baggage, their own reasons for being there. Their stories show that even in these massive civilizations, individual experiences matter.
It's like a mini version of humanity with all its complexities. Even when empires rise and fall, even if the stars die out, individual experience is still vital, precious.
Exactly. It reminds us that even if the universe does a hair, even in all the chaos, there's still beauty, meaning love. And that's worth fighting for.
And that brings us to the end of part 2. We've looked at how individual choice clashes with historical forces, the challenges of meeting the other, and how individual stories matter in the grand scheme of things. But what does it all mean? Are we headed for a great future or total oblivion? Can we learn from the past and build something better? Join us for the final part of our deep dive where we'll try to answer these questions and more. It's wild how much symbolism is packed into these sci-fi stories. Like there's always something deeper going on.
Yeah, definitely. That's what makes them so thought-provoking.
Like in Dune, spice isn't just some valuable thing.
Right. It's about control, power, what people will do to get it.
It's like our own obsession with oil or those rare earth minerals. Countries fight wars over that stuff. Economies rise and fall.
Exactly. And Arrakis itself, that harsh desert, it becomes a symbol, too, of resilience, but also the danger of, like, abusing the environment.
The Fremen, they live in harmony with it, but then outsiders come in wanting to exploit the spice.
Without thinking about the consequences.
That's a powerful message, especially today with all our environmental challenges.
And in Hyperion, the time tombs aren't just some ancient mystery. They represent the weight of history, that burden of the past.
And the Shrike, that creepy thing connected to them, it's like creation and destruction all at once.
Almost like a force of nature, something we can't fully grasp.
Yeah, it adds that cosmic horror element. Makes you wonder if some things are just beyond our control.
Definitely. And speaking of cosmic horror, the three-body problem doesn't hold back. The Trisolarans are the ultimate other.
They're so different from us.
Yeah, it challenges our whole understanding of life.
Their arrival forces us to face our own limits.
Like, are we really that special?
It's humbling, to say the least. Makes you think, if we met aliens that advanced, would we even understand them?
It's a good question, but even with that cosmic indifference, there's hope in the story, too.
The human characters don't just give up.
They fight back, they try to adapt, to survive.
Shows the human spirit, right? That resilience, that refusal to quit, even when things look impossible.
And it brings us back to, like, what is humanity? What does it mean to be human when faced with the unknown, the vastness of it all?
Sci-fi lets us explore that in ways other genres can't.
It pushes boundaries, imagines situations that challenge our assumptions.
About ourselves, about the universe.
And in those explorations, we might find something new, something hopeful.
Right. But we can't forget the lessons of history either.
Exactly. Those are crucial for understanding how civilizations fare.
You're talking about Rome, right? How it fell apart despite being so powerful.
Yeah, the internal struggles, overexpansion, not adapting to change.
We see those patterns in sci-fi too.
Definitely. The dangers of arrogance, the consequences of ambition, the need for unity when facing huge threats.
It's like history is this giant warning sign.
Showing us the pitfalls that have tripped up others before us.
And by studying both history and sci-fi, we get a better picture of what shapes civilizations.
We can learn from those mistakes, hopefully avoid making them ourselves.
It's a call to action, right? To be aware of our choices, to build a better society, to recognize that our actions matter.
Absolutely. For us and for generations to come. The fate of civilizations isn't set in stone. We have the power to change things.
But it takes, like, awareness, wisdom, and learning from what's worked and what hasn't in the past.
Right. The stories we've talked about, they are insights, warnings.
It's up to us to listen and to, write our own story.
Well said.
This deep dive has been quite a ride. We've gone across galaxies, looked at power, technology, the meaning of being human, and the possibilities with amazing futures or total collapse. So what are some things we can take away from all this?
I think the biggest thing is civilizations are complex. There's no one reason why they succeed or fail. It's internal pressures, external forces, individual choices, and just random events. It's a lot.
And technology, it's a tool, right? It could be used for good or bad. Progress and freedom, or control and destruction. Our choices about technology will shape our future.
And we can't ignore the other cultures, other species, even just different ways of thinking. Fear and isolation lead to conflict, but being open, cooperating, that can lead to peace and progress.
It all comes down to us, doesn't it? We have the power to learn, to adapt, to make choices that create a better future.
I think so. The stories we've explored, they give us insights, warnings.
It's up to us to listen and to shape our own destiny.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fate of civilizations. We hope it sparked some curiosity and inspired you to keep exploring these big questions. The journey doesn't stop here. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep imagining what's possible. The future's still being written.
A beginning is the time for taking the most delicate care that the balances are correct. Dune, Frank Herbert. But what of the end? What of civilizations that believe themselves eternal, only to watch time erode their foundations. We've seen it in fiction, we've seen it in history. And now we stand at the crossroads ourselves. Asimov's Foundation asked, can the future be predicted? Can we escape the fates that crushed Rome, Byzantium, the Mayans? Or are we, like Trantor, destined for inevitable collapse, an empire too vast to sustain itself? Hari Seldon believed in psychohistory, in equations that could predict the tides of history. But what if we had that power today? Would we listen, or would we, like the emperors of the past, dismiss the warnings until it was too late? And then there's Dune. Herbert warned of cycles, leaders rising, messiahs emerging, revolutions overturning the old, only for power to corrupt once more. Paul Atreides had visions of the future, yet even he couldn't stop what he had set in motion. Are we trapped in our own cycle? Have we built a world where change is an illusion, where new leaders wear old crowns and civilizations march toward collapse, blind to their own fragility? Then there's the three-body problem. The dark forest theory tells us that the universe is a battleground of civilizations, hiding in the cosmic shadows, knowing that survival depends on silence. But what if we are not alone? What if we are simply unaware of the rules we are already playing by? Are we building a civilization meant to last, or are we just another whisper in the dark, waiting to be silenced? And yet, amidst all this hope lingers. The Culture series by A&M Banks paints a different vision, one where AI, reason, and utopian ideals create a lasting civilization. Is this our path? Are we approaching a moment where human civilization transcends its past, breaking the cycle of rise and fall? Or will our creations, AI, automation technology, outgrow us, leaving humanity behind? Perhaps the question is not what fate awaits civilizations, but what choices we make. Every empire that fell had a moment when things could have changed. Every dystopian future started with a single misstep. Are we watching our own fate unfold? Or can we take control of it? If this podcast leaves you with anything, let it be this. Are we architects of our destiny, or passengers on history's inevitable course? And if we are architects, what kind of future do we dare to build?